Well, my name is Mary Neal, and I was born in Libertyville, Illinois, on Newberry Avenue. Dr. Galway from Libertyville walked all the way down to the house to deliver me. We were at 143 Newberry, and the house is still there, and it's painted a real ugly green.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah. And
So tell me about your parents.
well, my dad was a railroad engineer, and he was one of the first when they had the diesel engines. He was the first one to drive the diesel. Before that, they had steam, and he drove those back and forth to Chicago, Milwaukee, Fox Lake. That was a turnaround for the trains in Fox Lake, Illinois. And he did all that for years and years, and then he retired, and they left Libertyville and went to Vero Beach, Florida, and lived there the rest of their lives.
So he was born in the same house
That I was born in.
that you were born
I
in?
was born in the same house that he was
He was
born
born
in.
in. Okay.
Yeah.
And what year was he born?
My dad was born in 1887.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom was a wonderful, wonderful woman. She was from Green Bay, Wisconsin. She had been married before her first husband died at the age of 50, and the stepsister of mine, Agnes, she was raised by my mother and dad, and attended the Libertyville schools, and she became a nurse downtown Chicago. And then she married a doctor and moved to Syracuse, New York, where he was from.
Okay.
And she's since gone.
So tell me about your siblings. How many people in the family?
In my family, there were 9 of us. One boy died, so there were 8. My oldest sister, Lorraine, Agnes was the oldest, and she was a nurse. And then Lorraine, she was the boy that died. He was just 2, I think, something like that, 2 or 3, and his name was Donald. And then my sister Lorraine became a Sacred Heart nun, and she's still alive out in Menlo Park, California, and she's going to be 100. And then my brother Bob. He worked in Chicago for some engineering company. I can't remember the name or anything about it. But anyway, he's long gone, and his wife. His son lives in Chicago, and Bob. And then there was Bernice. She lived in Liverpool, New York, with her 12 children. Yeah, and her husband was a doctor, and I see the children once in a great while. They all live away from our area, so if they ever come to town, then I get to see them.
Okay.
And then Bill and Betty, they were twins, and they lived in Libertyville, in around that area, Mundelein. Betty's husband was a undertaker in Mundelein,
Okay.
Pete Christon. And then my brother Bill, he worked, I can't remember where he worked, but he worked for some company, and I can't remember where he ended up living. But we used to get together now and then. And then there was me, and then my brother Johnny, he was the youngest, and he's still alive. He has one of those campers. He lives in Arizona, but then when he's up here, he has a little, one of those modular homes. That's what he has.
Okay.
Up in, not too far over the border in Wisconsin.
Okay.
But where we're at, I don't know. So, and that's my family.
So Mary, what was it like living in Libertyville when you were a kid?
Oh, well, we just, we lived right there in Newberry, and we had we had a double backyard. We used to play ball, football, baseball, with the boys. They let us play with them because there weren't enough boys around.
Okay.
And we could roller skate from the top of the Milwaukee Avenue all the way down our street. You can't do that today, you know. And yeah, we had very simple kind of childhood, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got roller skates for Christmas, or wasn't your birthday, or you know, you got things like that where your toys, not like today. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and you
Was-
could always have whatever you desired for your dessert. That was always your treat, homemade. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Did you go to St. Joe's at
Yeah.
that time?
I went to kindergarten we lived right behind the central school, which was the main public school, and went there to kindergarten, and then first grade went to St. Joe's and started there. And my brother Bob was either 7th or 8th grade, and he used to piggyback me to first grade. Yeah. I think it was 8th grade because then he graduated and then I had to walk.
What was it like at St. Joe's? Were you taught by nuns?
Oh, yeah. They didn't know what a lay teacher was. They were all nuns. And we had 2 classes to a room, 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And they were like 1st and 2nd here and 3rd and 4th here.
Okay.
And then you went 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th. Yeah. Oh.
And then
Uh-huh.
what's high school did you go to?
I went 2 years to Libertyville, and then I went 2 years to Sacred Heart in Lake Forest. And then I went to Bear College there. We took the train, walked from Newberry all the way down to that train station unless it was raining or snowing, and took that train to Lake Bluff, climbed the stairs at Lake Bluff, and got on the Skokie train, that one that goes through Waukegan up into Chicago, and got off. Sacred Heart at that time had their own stop.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's still there. I don't know, but yeah. And
That's great.
yeah,
What did you do after high school?
the high school I worked in Chicago in an office for 2 years, and then I got married.
How did you meet your husband?
I met him through my sister-in-law. They wanted a nice girl to date him, and we had a prom to go to at that time at Sacred Heart. So I asked him, and we were together ever since.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Now,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about Paul, your
Well,
husband.
He was a family man. He loved his kids, do anything for them, but he was very strict. And we worked hard. He worked very hard to get where he was, and he loved politics. That was his baby. And then he eventually became mayor, and then he got the Lake Michigan water going from Lake Michigan, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, actually Lake Bluff, and got it going through to all the way out to, I forgot the name of that town. Anyway, about 13 miles west of the lake,
Okay.
he got the water going, started.
Okay.
Lake Michigan, and it was a lifesaver because at that time all the wells were starting to dry up. So, yeah, they were rationing water, and
So when you were a kid, you had a well.
oh yeah, we thought nothing of drinking well water.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was the train track there at that time, Mary? Behind, because you're kind of in front of the train track now, right?
On
Newberry?
on Newberry,
Was the train?
that's still there. That was there forever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you know what year that was put in? Was that back when your dad was a kid?
I'm sure it was
Okay.
there. It seemed like it was there forever. The station, they've improved that, but that was a very old station.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know the years. I don't know somebody else would know that.
So what year did you and Paul get married?
In 1948.
1948.
Yeah.
And were you dating for a while?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And where did he ask you to get married? How did that happen?
I don't know. I think he and my mother decided that we. I'm teasing. It just kind of was in the cards, you know, that we'd gone together for so long, and we thought, I picked the date, May 1st, because that was the month of Mary, and that was it.
Where did Paul grow up?
He grew up in North Chicago,
Okay,
not far from Waukegan.
sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And what was Paul's first job when you were married?
He worked for his brother-in-law out in Wadsworth. They had a big horse farm, and then they had a mink ranch, and he worked for him there and ran the place.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then eventually we moved into Libertyville because he started a canned dog food business,
Okay.
and it was closer for him to go to work from Libertyville than it was from Wadsworth.
Okay. What year was that, Mary? Roughly.
Marty, what year was, I don't know. You're asking me. Let's see, when was that?
Mid-60s.
Pardon?
Mid-60s.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So 9 children.
9.
How did? I was going to ask how'd that happen.
Very carefully.
So 9 children in Libertyville in the same house, or did you move around at all?
We lived in Wadsworth, and we had a house there on Wadsworth Road. And then when my husband started the business, he, went from there to Marengo, getting going.
Okay.
And it was very hard. And then we had this offer to get this nice house in Libertyville, and it's where Marty lives now. That was my house.
The same house?
Uh-huh.
On Liberty Bell.
On Libertyville Lane, or Court.
Okay.
Libertyville Court, yeah.
So that's where you raised 9 children.
I raised 9 kids in that house.
Tell me about that. That had to be quite fun.
It was hectic, yes. It was hectic. But, see, Carol and Paula, being the oldest, and then they're off high school, working, and graduating, and then pretty soon they're gone, so there were less children in the house. And Larry was off to college. Joni. I mean, it just worked out, and pretty soon we were empty nesters.
Yeah, next thing you know, right?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
So how long did Paul have the dog food business?
Well, Marty took it over. Now, Marty, you come ask Marty, come to the party. Dates. When did you take over Pine Tree?
1987.
Oh,
Okay. So Paul worked in it from the mid-60s all the way through the 80s,
uh-huh.
and Marty took over in 87?
See, he got into politics.
Okay.
So, does that tell you something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Marty came on in, and he just, he liked it, or whether he liked it or not, he did it, right?
So, can I take you back, and this might be a little sensitive, but I'm curious because my own father lost his hand. Marty had an accident.
Yeah. We were in California visiting my sister-in-law,
Okay.
and we had taken like a road trip. Yeah. No, we didn't, because I remember riding home on the train.
So you took the train to California?
Yeah, we did that. And my sister-in-law lived out there, and her friends, and so we were there a little while, and then we got the phone call, and and it was terrible. But he's done beautifully with it. He really has. He's shows other people how to use it, and he encourages people that, you know, have problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the kids growing up. How did they decide where to go to school? Did they all go to LHS or Carmel?
Carmel, the boys went to Carmel, and the girls, Linda went to Carmel, she was the youngest. Carol went to Carmel. Paula went 2 years to Carmel, and then she went to Libertyville. Joni went to Libertyville, and the boys. Joni, that was it, right? Yeah. Who? Kitty. She went to Libertyville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Middle
it's
child.
kind of a mix between Carmel and LHS.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a particular reason for that?
Well, we believed in Catholic education, and as long as we could afford it, we did it. But if they didn't, like, Paula did not like, I don't know what it was she didn't like about Carmel, but she was not, and she was a very bright girl. And so when she decided we weren't going to argue and let her go to finish up at Libertyville. And she was happy. Yeah, she just wasn't geared for Carmel, I guess.
Okay.
However you put it. Yeah.
So describe Paul to me a little bit.
Huh?
Describe your husband. What was he like?
Oh, he was a real happy person. He was a real, he took a lot of things in his stride, although you knew deep down they were bothering him. But he could handle people well. He kind of brisk at times. But he gave it his all, I'll say that. And when he got into that water agency, that was his baby.
How did that go down? How complicated? It sounds very complicated.
It was very complicated.
Tell me about that.
Oh my God.
You had a front row seat to that process.
I mean, I don't know how far down they went in Lake Bluff, but it was down mighty, mighty far to get into that good water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it was a very complicated, more complicated than they thought, but they worked it out.
Was it politically complicated as well?
It could have been a little political, but I don't think it was real, because they knew
there was such a need.
They knew they needed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How long was he mayor?
8 years.
8 years. Okay, 2 terms.
Yeah,
Is that what that is? Yeah.
yeah. And he loved it. Yeah.
Libertyville is a great place to live and raise children. I'm raising my family there. What did you like about Libertyville the most when you were raising your kids?
Well, it was a little different then. You could let them out on the street. They played ball in the street. They rode their roller skates up and down. And I don't know, it just was safe. We never felt like we had, at 8 o'clock they were in the house,
Yeah.
When it started getting dark, in you come. And they loved it in the summer because it was always light for a longer length of time. Yeah.
Was St. Joe's a big part of your life?
Yeah.
With the kids growing up, I would imagine.
With me growing up, and then, yeah.
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 So you saw a lot of priests come through as pastors to the church.
We had Father Lowry.
Did you have a favorite?
Was he a favorite?
No. Did you have a favorite?
Well, we didn't know them that well.
Okay.
The priests were really on a pedestal.
Okay.
And so were the nuns. So you respected them all the way. Yeah. Yeah. I had a favorite, my first grade teacher, and I can still think of her today. She's such a lovely lady.
Tell me about her.
Well, Mercy nuns, they wore those habits with the black veil and then the white thing coming around to here. So all you saw were the nose, eyes, and she had such a pretty face. And she was so gentle with little first graders and second graders, two grades to a room. And She was just a lovely, lovely person. And then the principal, she was very strict. Everybody was afraid of her. But I guess that's the way they wanted it, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember the teacher's name, the nun?
Michaeline, Sister Mike, the one that I liked so
Yeah.
well, Sister Michaeline, and the principal at the time was Sister Teresita. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still go to mass every week?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Why is your faith important to you?
Well, I think that's the way my mother taught me. My mother, you know, she was very religious, and she just, you know, there's God over everybody, and you just go that way, I guess. Why do some people not even go to church? I don't know, you know. It's hard to figure, but yeah.
Do you pray every day?
Certainly. Don't you?
Yeah. I need to pray more. What do you pray about, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, first of all, for peace in the world, which, you know, we're having a hard time getting that. And for each and every one of my children and anybody that I know that's in need of something. Yeah. It's very, it's just automatic. I mean, I don't have to think about, oh, I got to get down and say my prayers. I don't have to do that.
That's wonderful. Let me take you back to some historical moments. There are a lot of them, obviously, but do you remember where you were when Kennedy passed away, when he was killed?
Well, I remember Marianne was 3 years old. How many years ago is that, Marty? She was 3 years old, and we were getting ready for a birthday party for her. The little kids didn't understand all that. So
what was that like for you?
Terrible. Terrible.
What happened?
It was just like you just walked around. Oh, how can that happen? How, you know? I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible for everybody. Yes.
I would imagine, being a Catholic family, that everybody was very very much in tune and rooting for President Kennedy.
Well, I think that, but I also think that the President of the United States is killed. You know, I mean, that's the way I was. Yeah, you're kind of walking around in a kind of a daze. Yeah, it was terrible.
President Kennedy came to Cook Memorial Park when he was campaigning at one time,
Right.
I understand.
Yeah, my husband was there. Yeah, I was there.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What was that like?
Oh, it was exciting. People from all over came. Yeah.
That's great.
And he just waved, you know. It wasn't like he milled around with the people, but he was very kind, very kind. Yeah.
How about the Apollo mission, and what was that like as a young person watching that unfold and happen? Did that have any special meaning to you, or?
Well, at the time you wondered if they were going to come back. That was the scariest part of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was successful, I guess, and everybody, I can remember when it dropped down, you know, I mean, they let us know when it dropped down, so yeah, we were very much involved watching it, that type of thing on TV. Yeah.
Was Paul in the military?
No, he had asthma, he couldn't go in.
Okay.
In those days, they didn't take him. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How about any of your siblings?
Oh, his brother was a Marine, and his brother was in the Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was a little too young, and then, you know, the draft was slowing down, and having the asthma, they just didn't even look at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have 26 grandchildren and 15 great-grandchildren. Tell me a little bit about being a grandma.
Well, I live out in Arizona now, so I don't get to see them too much, but when I see any of them, or if they ever will come to visit me, I'll enjoy them, and I do have fun with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What took you out to Arizona, Mary?
Well, I was living alone, and I was lonesome then, as you are if your spouse isn't around. So And my kids were all busy in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like cold weather.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
That's a big one
That was the
for
big
everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And I could do it. I sold my house, and I could do really what I wanted. And
Is that when Marty bought the house? Did you sell the
no,
house to
no,
Marty?
no. There was a couple, young couple, but then they loved the house, and then they sold it to somebody else. So no, remember the guy that had it remodeled? That wasn't that young couple. No, they sold it to him. No, he's telling me all this.
Okay.
So anyway, okay.
If Paul were here today, how would he describe you?
Bossy.
What else?
Well, how would he describe me? I'm fair. I listen. I don't jump to conclusions. I listen. I'm loving. I love my kids. I love my grandchildren. I love them all.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, and I love life
yeah, that's
very
great.
much. Very much. Yeah.
Was your mom and dad, did they have that, do you get that attitude from them? The love of life?
Oh, my
and
mother
zest
was
for
like
life?
that. Yeah. My dad, in those days they had to work, and
Yeah,
he'd come home tired. Sundays we had fun, but usually he'd come home and eat and read the paper and go to bed.
yeah,
He was there for the discipline, or if my mother didn't know what to do with something. But usually he let her rule the roost. So
okay.
yeah.
And that was the same with you and Paul?
Well.
Similar?
Oh, at times, yeah. Yeah. He really liked his finger in the pie.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he had to know what his kids were doing. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you have all these grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you have 9 kids. Do they ever ask you for advice?
Well, I'm out in Arizona.
Well, just in general.
Do you think so, Marty? I don't. Do you think? Do
Okay.
I give it? Do I give good advice?
Well, I'm going to ask you to give some advice right now. So you had 44 years of marriage to Paul before he passed away in 1992, right?
93, 92. 92.
Okay. So your kids, your grandkids ask you for advice on marriage. What would you tell them? How to have a good marriage?
Well, I think mostly respect one another and work things out. Mostly, you know, people jump to conclusions and they don't get any answers. They got to try to work it out, and sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. Marty's got a beautiful marriage, huh?
Yes.
4 kids. Yep.
How about money? Do you have any advice about money, or do you have any philosophy around money?
Well, I always try to tell them, pay your bills first, and what's left over you spend, or put in the bank, but make sure those bills are paid.
Mhm.
And, yeah.
How about faith? You have a sister that's a nun.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up Catholic. Paul was Catholic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You raised your kids in Catholic schools. Talk to me a little bit about faith, and what advice would you give anyone as it relates to exercising their faith and being good Christians?
Well, I think just by being a good or trying, I shouldn't say being, trying. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. There's so much out there that's so tempting in this world that we in our little community were, mind our own business and pray to God and thank God for everything,
Gratitude.
Yes, yeah. I don't preach it, but I believe it. Yeah.
Marty, questions or stories that we should tap into?
she's up to it, let's talk about my sister Mary Ann and her passing.
Is that okay, Mary?
Yeah. She was a funny little girl. Yeah. She took things in her. She loved people. She was burned when she was 3. In those days, they didn't know much what to do with them. And so she was in the hospital quite a while. And they all got to know her real well. And we had this Dr. Edwards that was a family doctor. You didn't have peds then, pediatricians then. Well, you did if you had problems, but otherwise they were strictly for the. And so the nurses got to know her real well. And, I had other kids at home, so I had to be going back and forth, and my husband too. And so this one night she's down there and she's yelling at the nurses, "I want my Dr. Edwards." "Dr. Edwards, where are you?" And then she'd see him, she'd go scooting after him in the hallways, and yeah, they got a big charge out of that. And yeah, she did real well in her life for what she had against her. And she married Bob Key, and they had 4 beautiful children. Christopher's in Colorado living with his wife, and the 3 girls at home hounding their dad all the time. So, Jessica's a school teacher, and Amanda, Amanda's a nurse, and Sarah, the youngest, she's still in college. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And they live in Libertyville, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Right around the corner from where I used to live.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, what do you like to do for hobbies? What are your interests?
Well, I'm a bridge player,
Okay.
and I walk. I don't do a lot of things I used to do, but I walk, and I knit. I don't sew much anymore, but I could if I had. Well, we make baby quilts. We make baby quilts for church for the indigent,
Okay.
and keep myself busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you participate in some things, it sounds like, at your parish in Arizona?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going as long as I can. Yeah. It's a nice parish where I'm at.
What's the name of the parish?
Our Lady of Lourdes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What town is that, Mary?
That's Sun City West.
Sun City West. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I've never been to Arizona.
Beautiful town. I mean, we have our own grocery store, a little dress stores, variety store, hardware store. So actually, you don't have to go too far to shop if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah. And then if you want to go to the mall, that's about 8 miles away. Yeah.
So you brought some yarn, and it looks like you're starting a scarf or something.
Oh,
over there.
yeah.
What are you making there?
I make a little scarf for the little ones.
For the little ones? Yeah.
Or
they-
if the big ones want them.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I've been knitting for years. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you about Wesley?
Mm-mm.
Tell me a little bit.
That was Joni's youngest. She had 2 girls and then Wesley. And from the time he was a little itty bitty, he just had the look of the devil in him. His eyes were, I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do next. And he always thought he had one on top of us, but we always kept on top of him. He was a real sweet kid, but he was one of those, he just loved, why, I don't know, but he just loved tease, and he loved to pull tricks, and some of them weren't too nice at times. But he he was starting to straighten out, and the boys helped. The boys, my brothers, my sons helped a lot, and you know, he was just one of those. He wanted to get in trouble, it seemed. I don't know why, and we didn't let him hang around with some kids, but he hung around with them anyway if he could get away with it, you know.
Okay.
And then we were all trying to talk him into the go into the Marines or something. What does he do? He joins the Army without any of us knowing.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And he also got married. Met one of those little Honolulu girls.
Okay.
Okay. He got married, and then he went off to Afghanistan. Got killed. Friendly fire. Yeah. Yeah. So, Wesley. But, you know, he was a happy-go-lucky kid. He wanted to do his own thing. That was his biggest problem. But we loved him dearly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
We were talking about a funny story that I think it'd be great if she talked about. And I think all I have to say is the word rooster.
The word what?
Rooster.
Oh.
So let me. So Marty asked me to ask you about rooster.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how it even got going. I can't remember, except that this rooster started crowing at 2 o'clock in the morning. A rooster. And I mean, it sounded like a real rooster. So, anyway, there was this rooster noise every night I thought it was like in the attic of the house.
Okay.
The attic area. I mean, we looked everywhere else, but it was, and we even went through packing boxes, thinking it was in there. Well, we're always looking for the rooster, but this one night he said, "That rooster's got to be somewhere, Mary. Now I'll help you find it." He was my next door neighbor.
Okay. His
And
name
it's
was.
cold out. It's cold out.
Okay.
So anyway, he is up at 2 in the morning, and I'm up at 2 in the morning, and I'm on the inside of the house going around looking for the rooster, and it's not there. And he's on the outside of the house going around looking for the rooster, and he's not there. So he's standing at my bedroom window going like this. And he had this hat on, one of those winter hats that the things come down and keep your ears warm.
Yeah.
He had that on, and he looked so damn silly. He had his pajamas and his leather jacket on over that. So anyway, he's going at the window at the outside, looking in, and he's going, and I'm going, because it's in the attic. See, it's somewhere in the attic. We couldn't find it. How'd we ever find that rooster? Packed away in a box?
I think it went off at some point and somebody heard it. And they
Oh, yeah, when I moved, we moved these boxes to Mary Ann's attic
Okay.
in the house that I had lived in.
Okay.
Oh, no, that was a
Down,
key.
a couple down.
Yeah, yeah, couple down, yeah. And here is this noise coming out of this box in the attic. And it was a rooster.
What was it, like a plastic rooster or
It was about that big.
a live rooster?
No. Oh, no, it was one of those toy roosters that evidently the little switch, I don't know whether from movement or what, but evidently the switch would go on and off. I don't know how the thing worked. I have no idea. But here's the rooster in a box. He was there. Oh, we had more fun with that. Oh, Lordy, I'd forgotten about that too. Yeah.
You got any other rooster stories? So you turned 90 recently.
June 19th.
Tell
Yeah.
me about the party.
Oh my God, it was held at Mickey Finn's. Mickey Finn's?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just started out. We were in the bar area, and then pretty soon we're walking to the great big room that he has there. It was mobbed with people. Yeah, mobbed with
For
people.
you.
Yeah, my 90th birthday.
What'd you think of that?
Oh my God, I was floored. I was floored for weeks. I'm still floored. Yeah. People came from all over. I had nieces and nephews from Texas, from Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Where else, Marty? From Milwaukee, from all Florida. Came from all over. Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Oh my God, yes. Forever. I still think about it. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, yeah.
What'd you have to eat?
Oh, they fixed barbecue, whatever. I don't know if I ate or not, but they had barbecue and they had pizza and something else, but I don't remember.
Did you have a beer?
A beer?
Yeah.
No, I had a wine.
You had wine.
I
Good
have the wine. The wine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the time I saw all those people, I needed some. Oh my
Did
God.
people talk, or did they give you a toast of some sort?
Yeah, don't we have a video of it? Marty?
Possibly.
It's probably there somewhere. Yeah, I should look for it because I told Carol, I said, I know we did a video once before, but I don't think I ever listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to find that too.
Okay.
Yeah, you forget stuff
Yeah.
at my age.
I know how that is.
Oh no, wait till you get there.
Do you drive?
I do
Yeah.
at home. Nobody wants me driving around here,
Okay.
so I won't do that.
Okay.
I don't want to hurt
Would
somebody
you
else.
go to the store and church and whatnot?
When I'm home, I'm just only if I have to go to the mall, but I don't go there anymore unless I have to. And I go to the grocery store and church, and
Mm-hmm.
if I have to go somewhere, but I don't really drive very far.
Okay.
I don't even want to, you know.
Yeah.
It's gotten so crowded. Yeah. Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground, Mary.
Yeah,
Anything
we
else
did.
you want to talk about, Mom?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay.
I may think of it an hour from now.
That's what happens, right? Well, Mary,
Ah,
it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much.